Hi, my name is Brian McCumber, and this is Talking Tech Jobs Weekly, episode number 4. And I'm here to talk about the third hottest technology career that could be for you. It's called a business analyst, and this could be the hottest job for you to reach 6 figures without actually doing coding. And we're going to dive into it. But first, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I try to do this every weekly episode. So I am a first degree black belt in Taekwondo, and I've been practicing and started up when my kids were old enough to get started, but also I started way back when I was in high school. And just a quick little story how I actually got started. I was introduced to martial arts through a friend of mine, and his story, his whole life is kind of like a movie almost. I would say his father was stationed in Korea. He was in the military, so he lived there when he was young, like around the age of 5 or 6, and then he'd go to school, but kids were picking on him, called him round eye, so his dad put him in martial arts. And so he started taking martial arts, but he was also in gymnastics at the same time. So by the time I met him in high school, he was this backflip kicking and splits. I mean, better than Van Damme at the time when Van Damme was really popular in the martial arts. So at that time, I was a pretty good wrestler during high school. So I wrestled quite a bit, and then I saw what he was doing with martial arts, and that got me excited. So I started studying with him, and we studied Kempo, Jiu-Jitsu, and Taekwondo. And it was pretty awesome. And then when I went into college, I sort of lost touch with martial arts. And then later on, now that my kids, and I want to get them exposed to martial arts, and they're now little black belts as well, I joined with them, and we sort of did that as a family thing. So it's pretty cool, and now I keep it a part of my daily workout. So 5 a.m.s, I actually warm up with martial arts, doing the stretching and the kicking and things like that. So pretty cool. I'd say it's a life discipline and something that you should look forward to. There's many other positives as a part of it, being in martial arts and making it a part of your life. So just a little bit about me, and I try to do this every week. So let's get down to business. Okay, so what is a business analyst? Well, what they do in general is that they take and extract a business need, and then they pair it with technology solutions. They're often referred to as a BA. So you may hear that term thrown around quite a bit, like, oh yeah, I'm a BA, or we need a BA, that sort of thing. But they also look for process improvements, and they help with defining the technical solutions. Now, what do business analysts actually do? They actually translate the business needs into technical functional requirements. So they work closely with the key stakeholders of the business, and they're called stakeholders, and they gather the needs and what they're looking for, the problems that they have, and then they take that and then work with the technical architects and come up with a solution based on the needs that are identified. So they work closely together to kind of bridge that gap between business and technology. Now, what tools do the business analysts use? Well, one of the popular ones is Visio. They actually have to diagram and lay out the workflow of what they think the process is and what the system solutions should be. They also work with Microsoft Word, which they are writing up those functional design documents that is to be delivered. They work with Microsoft Excel to help track the scope of work and what's to be delivered sprint to sprint. And then they work with wireframing tools. There's a bunch of them out there. Wireframing is basically to kind of sketch out what the user interface or what the app should look like, how the user is going to work with the app. It's kind of like a quick mock-up. They're not necessarily designers, but they help give input and then get the stakeholders input as far as what they want and look and feel, things like that. The other tool that they use is PowerPoint, and they basically take summaries of each of the other components and put it together in a presentation. Sometimes they need to present to the group as to what's to be delivered or what is needed and what is the solution and what should it be. So PowerPoint is another popular tool. Now, what role does the business analyst play within the project team? Well, if we're talking Scrum, one popular role that a business analyst will fill in is related to what they call the product owner. And the goal of the product owner is to help maximize what's to be delivered and maximize the product value of what's to be delivered. So they help with a focus of let's get the best value out of what's to be delivered in the solution. So that's key. Now, another role that the business analyst can play within a Scrum team is being a part of the team members. So they would actually work closely with the business, but then also with the delivery team. So sprint to sprint, they would help identify the deliverables, what's to be delivered, and even help feed what's to be tested and so on. So they help with the backlog of what's going in sprint to sprint. Now, let's get down to the nitty gritty. What do business analysts actually make? Well, I usually been saying about technology careers playing it safe that entry levels start around $50,000. More and more, geez, this is getting closer to $60,000 per year. So that's more than $1,000 a week. The national average is $57,000 per year, and here in Chicago, the Chicago average for an entry level business analyst is $60,000 per year. So that's pretty cool. Now, if you're a mid-level business analyst, that pay scale goes up to $95,000. And then if you're a senior level business analyst, that actually goes even further above 6 figures. And typically the career path of the business analyst can grow into where you start as a business analyst, and then most likely you're growing into what they call a project manager, and that pay scale even goes higher. Now, how do you become a business analyst? Well, the good place to start is with our partnership with Pluralsight. They have a great career learning path for you to pick up the skill sets that you need, specifically where you can adopt them and then try to get experience right away. So I recommend checking out the link. I'll post it related to the show notes, and what you want to do is check it out, sign up for the free trial, and then go down the career path. So this career path is basically having a technology career without actually having to code. So if you think coding's not for you, or when I talked about DevOps and you think a little bit of coding's not for you, well, in this case, if you're more of a business hat, solution solving, requirements gathering and documenting, then this role is for you. And it's a good career path where it actually leads you into management. So it's something that I would say to look into. It's a hot skill, it's a hot job, and so give the Pluralsight free trial a try, and it should help you out a lot. So that's it for this episode. We're talking about business analysts here. Like I said, it's the third hottest career that you could be looking into right now to get yourself up to 6 figures. I'm here to help you out.